Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are currently working on Titus Andronicus, which is known as probably Shakespeare's goriest play. So trigger warning, there's going to be some gore in this one. If you are weak of stomach and need to either finish eating or watch this before you eat, whatever, just to make sure that things aren't going to come back up later, please watch this at your own peril. So where we are, we're still just in Act 1, Scene 1, and today we get to hear from Tamora, who is the queen of the Goths. And the Goths are Germanic peoples who have been fighting wars with the Romans for at least 10 years, maybe longer than that. And in these wars, Titus has lost about 21 of his 25 sons. And in yesterday's monologue, he returned to Rome with at least one of his sons in a coffin to inter said child. But he returns sort of like all triumphant because he's this big war hero and all that sort of thing. And a lot of the people of Rome want him to become the next emperor because the emperor has just recently died. Whereas the emperor's children, Saturnius and Pausanias, are also vying for position to become the new emperor. So anyway, yesterday we had Titus coming back and greeting the people of Rome and saying how happy it was to be home, but then also noticing that there's this tomb right here that has 21 of his children in it, and that's kind of a sad thing. So he kind of sort of eulogized them or paid tribute to them a little smidge. And when he finishes that, one of his existing sons who's still alive, he's got 4 sons who are still alive, the eldest of which is Lucius. Lucius is like, yeah, as payment for all this, we should take a Goth prisoner and mutilate, dismember, and kill him, as a sacrifice to honor all of our fallen brethren. So Titus is like, yeah, take Gamora's eldest son, whose name is Alarbus. And Tamora says, stay, Roman brethren, gracious conqueror, victorious Titus, rue the tears I shed. A mother's tears in passion for her son. And if thy sons were ever dear to thee, oh, think my sons to be as dear to me. Sufficeth not that we are brought to Rome to beautify thy triumphs and return captive to thee and to thy Roman yoke. But must my sons be slaughtered in the streets for valiant doings in their country's cause? Oh, if to fight for king and commonweal were piety in thine, it is in these. Andronicus, stain not thy tomb with blood. Wilt thou draw near the nature of the gods? Draw near them then in being merciful. Sweet mercy is nobility's true badge. Thrice noble Titus, spare my firstborn son. So even though she's a prisoner at this moment, Tamora's got some guts. She's like, wait. I am pleading now for my son's life. You know what it is to lose a son. You very much know what it is to lose a son. So please, don't inflict that same thing upon me. My sons are as dear to me as your sons were to you. She's like, is it not bad enough that we're here in chains in front of all of you, that we're your captives, but now you have to slaughter my kids in the street? She's like, they were just doing the same thing that your sons were doing, just on the opposite side of the battlefield. Like they were both sides fighting for king and country, just on opposite sides. So if your sons were being valiant, why do my sons now have to die for this? She's like, if it's up to you to decide who lives and dies the same way that the gods would, why don't you emulate the gods in terms of their mercy and how merciful the gods can be? Exercise that mercy now and spare my son. And Titus responds by saying, well, take a look around you at all these Romans who all have brothers and sons and fathers who were killed by the Goths in these wars. They all demand a sacrifice, so sorry, but your kid is going to be it. So Lucius is like, start up a fire. And he and his 3 brothers, Titus' other 3 sons who are still alive, take Alarbus, Tamora's eldest son off to dismember and burn him. And while that happens, Tamora and her 2 other sons have a little aside where you might think that they would just like grieve for that, but they're like, we can get revenge for this. And that's going to be an ongoing theme in this play, is getting revenge for stuff, and how continually getting revenge for stuff just leads to worse and worse stuff. So you've been warned. But anyway, they're like, we'll get revenge. And then the 4 brothers come back in and they're like, yeah, his limbs and his entrails are burning on the fire in there. Isn't that awesome? And Titus is like, okay, now it's time to actually bury this son of mine. So he once again eulogizes his kids who have died and been buried in this tomb. And then we see Marcus Andronicus, who's Titus's brother, show up with Saturnius and Basanius, and they're like, hey! And then Marcus is going to have a monologue that we will get to hear tomorrow. So I will see you then for that.